Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I want to congratulate you on your appointment. You're the right man for the job, and I look forward to working with you. I know, as someone who represents Bakersfield, you have a personal relationship traveling with your son for medical treatment. So we just appreciate just you acknowledging, I guess, our region. I want to give you some time to address any questions that you felt you didn't get to answer.
Well, I think what is failed to mention is because of the continuity that I'm required to be in communication 24/7, 365 days a week, I cannot fly commercial. I'm required by statute, the same as the Department of War, same thing as the Department of Justice, same thing as the Vice President and the President. We have to be in communication at all times. So if I'm going to go see my family, which my family lives in Oklahoma, I'm required to take that. If I had other means, I'd be happy to take it. But just like I did when I was in the Senate, I flew back and forth every weekend.
Thank you. I want to as a Californian, we certainly are concerned about the planning for the World Cup as well as the LA Olympics in 2028. Heightened threat environment. Clearly, the two Homeland Security shutdowns were not good, and certainly we, as Republicans, we've been trying to give you the resources that you need. With that being said, these two international events will test every level of our Homeland Security operations. You know, as the Secretary now, what are the top vulnerabilities that keep you up at night, and what resources do you need to address these challenges?
The biggest concern I have is honestly with drone defense. Our countermeasures with drones is I wouldn't say a vulnerability, but it is one of the areas that we are struggling with every single day. When we start talking about the soft areas, having great cooperation with local law enforcement is vitally important to us. Soft areas are areas outside of our perimeter, leading up to the perimeter. And we rely heavily on that. We've asked for some governments or some, states to help with National Guard. They could use it for a training event if they wanted to in some of these weekends. We have a lot of these cities are going to be doing every other day. We'll have an event at their facility for weeks on end. It puts a strain on everybody, and just the more police presence we have out there, the better we'll be.
Thank you.
Congressman, can I address one more thing too?
Yes.
By statute, I'm also required to have a number of seats, a set number of seats that's on the plane with me when I travel because of the continuity aspect of it, the resources plus Secret Service has to fly with me. So I can't simply jump into a smaller plane. I didn't make these rules. These rules were in place when I was nominated and confirmed to be in this seat.
Your role as the head of Department of Homeland Security is extremely vital. I totally understand. You had mentioned earlier in I think in another question that because of the shutdowns, we've missed milestones in the planning of the Olympics and the World Cup. I wonder if you could go into a little bit more specifics in terms of how you and your department are trying to catch up.
Sorry, we had to start prioritizing when we came back alive, after 76 days of being shut down is what I say. When we came back alive, we started to prioritize what we can put efforts to, because during the shutdown, we weren't able, because we didn't have the employees and we didn't have the department to be able to start issuing these FEMA grants that we need to run with all the host cities in for the Olympics and then also FIFA. So when we came back alive, we had to start really focusing on FIFA because we were behind and those agencies were hurting for finances. We had to put all efforts into it. Now, we're caught up. Well, we're not totally caught up, Troy, but we're close to being caught up. And as soon as FIFA's over, which is the 19th of July, is that correct, sir? I think it's the 19th of July is or the 18th, one of the two of July. We will be able to start focusing on Olympics again.
Yeah, just let me add too. We in the last 3 weeks since Secretary has taken over, we've released $6 billion in FEMA, and a big part of that to get back out to the states because we were pent up with these shutdowns. And I'll also just add to this is that one of the hardest part is what we've had to piece together the big beautiful bill money and the appropriations. Something we really haven't talked a whole lot about today is FY27 and what we're doing here today. So, I think at some point, I would just say, big things that are out there. They talked about the TSA passenger fee. That was something that every year in the president's budget, we put that forward and we asked for you guys to give that to us to make the investments in TSA. Same thing this year. We hope that you guys would help us out. We'd really be able to use that money for the technology to help screen for this big event for FIFA.
I appreciate that. I run out of time, but thank you for your questions. So we should focus on the topic of the committee hearing. And with that, I yield back.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.